Hi there, welcome to another painting tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to paint a raccoon. So let's get started. I want to start with my Find Mist spray bottle and do a couple sprays. That's just going to damp the paper so that our paint flows a little more smoothly. And let's start with our darkest values. And I'm going to start with a size 6 filbert brush. And for our dark values, let's use this Payne's gray. And we can put that here where the ears are. And inside this ear. You can see that the Payne's gray has a little bit of a bluish undertone. And then let's put some kind of hair up here. So I'm using the edge of my brush to get a little bit of a thinner stroke with this filbert. And then I can go around the eyes with a black paint. And if you want to get this sketch, look at the link below in the description of the video, and you should be able to copy the sketch or print it out even if you wanted to. So then the nose is black, so let's paint the nose in this Payne's gray shade. If you don't have Payne's gray, you can use black. And I'm just gonna go around here, just blocking in these dark values. Trying not to lose my sketch too much. Okay, and for the eyes, I want them to be a dark color. Let's see if we can do, I'm going to use the size 0 spotter, and let's take this dark brown. I have a Vandyke Brown. You could also do like a burnt umber. I'm going to put in the eyes with the brown color. And I'm just using that as a base color. And I want it to be a different shade than the Payne's gray so that I don't lose the shape of the eye. But I might go back and make it darker later. Okay, and then let's add a little bit more. So we're going back to the size 6 filbert, and we're going back to this Payne's gray. And underneath the little guy here, he's got black, so we can put more of the Payne's gray or the black, whichever one you're using. And all that area is in quite a bit of shadow. So you could switch to a larger brush if you wanted to, just to make things go a little bit quicker. And also working with a larger brush will sometimes make your painting look a little bit more loose. Okay, so we're just blocking in, trying to get kind of like a hair, kind of moving in the direction of the hair of the raccoon. Kind of a little bit more shadow underneath the ear, so put a little bit of a darker value there. And then just kind of outline some of those lines in the sketches where it's showing where the hair is. And then he's just kind of bushy around here, so you can just kind of put some different strokes along there. It can be pretty loose. It doesn't have to be precise. Okay, so now let's switch to a different brush and put in some of those leaf shapes. So I'm going to take a size 8 round brush, and it has a nice point on the end, and that's good for painting leaves. So I have this orange shade. I'm just going to paint those leaves in this bright orange. Just use that fine tip of the round brush to get close to those little corners of the leaves. And I want to be careful to keep these colors separate so that they don't get each other muddy or dirty each other. That's why you also want to use a different brush here. And then go ahead and paint the leaves up at the top. And then paint these leaves over at the side here, letting that point of the brush do the work to just use one stroke to get those points of the leaf. Okay, and then we could put a darker color in for kind of a shadow. So let's see, I have this kind of maroon color. So let's just put that in along some of the leaves, along the bottom, just to give them a little bit of a dimension. Okay, and then I'm going to rinse off the brush and just take a damp brush without any color on it and just kind of blend that in, going back over and blending that reddish color into the orange. Okay, and then if you wanted even a darker value, you could take some brown color. I have this Burnt Sienna here, and we could add a little bit of that Burnt Sienna as kind of a shadow for these leaves. So think about which side is your light source and which side is going to be your shadow, and try to stick with that rule. And then you could do the same thing, just take a damp brush without any color, and you can do some blending here if you would like. Okay, so let's switch back to the size 6 filbert brush, and I want to rinse it off pretty good here. And I'm going to switch colors. Let's switch to a brown color. I have a Vandyke Brown. And let's fill up some of this white area on the raccoon. And a lot of this brown is probably going to be covered up, so it doesn't have to be too precise. Just try to cover up some of your white of the paper. Just give a nice color, a nice dark value. And I'm going to go around the muzzle of the raccoon. Kind of has a little bit of a mouth here, so you can kind of make a line. Okay, I'm going to put another spray just because the paint is getting a little bit dry and I'm having a little bit trouble blending the paint. So just give yourself a little spray. Right, so I'm kind of quickly going in kind of over the white area. So try to avoid painting on top of the leaves here. You want to kind of take your time and go around them. So if you need to, you can go ahead and pause the video so that you can just take your time and do a little bit of a neat work. I like to paint quickly, but sometimes when you paint quickly, you get into a little bit of a trouble of making your work a little messy. So that's kind of a balance that you have to work on. Okay, and now I'm going to go back to that zero spotter, and I have some really dark shade here, and I'm going to see, I think this is just a straight black. So I'm going to put that around the eyes. And I can leave some of that brown on there. And that can kind of give a little bit more of a dimension to the eyes. Okay, so we're kind of in the ugly phase of the painting here. I'm going to put a little bit darker value along the ears. So this is a straight black. And maybe put a little bit more of that around the face, just for a darker value. Okay, so let's take a little more Payne's gray and let's put some of that around the body. They're kind of going around those leaves. And the raccoon kind of goes off the page here on this side. So you can just go ahead and try to paint your black shade or your Payne's gray really close to that edge there. Okay, and then I'm going to take that straight black and let's put another layer around the nose. So you can do kind of a C shape at the top and then kind of a rectangle shape towards the bottom where you're just kind of shaping that nose. Okay, I'm going to take a straight white, titanium white, and I'm going to put a little bit of a highlight into that eye. Okay, that didn't show up super bright. That's all right. So then let's take some of this brown and put it around the rest of the eye. So I'm going to cover up some of that white around the eye, and then we'll go back later and we'll put kind of that white eyelid on there. Okay, let's switch to a smaller filbert. I have a size 4 filbert. And let's put some kind of a beige color. So I have this light beige. And let's start putting in this area, which is just kind of, I'm just feathering it towards the outside. And it's just like kind of a hair, kind of going in the direction of the hair. Okay, and then let's put that around the mouth here. Just add a little bit of that tan buff color around his mouth. And kind of notice that it's pretty transparent. It's not coming up as opaque as I would like. So I'm probably going to have to switch to a different shade to add some more of these highlights. But let's just keep putting that tan color in as a mid-tone. And then we can come down here on the tail and then go ahead and put some along the tail here. That tan color. So you're just covering up the white marks, giving it some more dimension. Just adding another layer of paint. And it's kind of blending and smoothing in some of that Vandyke Brown that we had. Okay, so along the bottom, let's put a dark value. Let's take some of this Payne's Gray, just go along the bottom of the raccoon and maybe around the edge as well. And kind of try to blend that in. And also go around, carefully paint around those leaves. Okay, so I think the eyes have dried a little bit. Let's try to pop in a little bit of titanium white. I just want a nice dot there. Okay, that looks better. That showed up a little better than the last one. So now let's take some titanium white and let's see if we can put in some eyelids. So very carefully. Very carefully go over the top. Okay, that one looked good. Let's do the other one. Okay, and then we can go along the bottom as well. Okay, so that brought the eyes, kind of brought them to life a little bit. Let's take some of this titanium white and let's put in this part of the, it's kind of like the hair or the fur. We're just kind of feathering up. Kind of like a bushy eyebrows here. And then let's put in on each side of the nose. It should be fairly light where the mouth is. So you can put that in. Go right over that brown on both sides, but try not to get the middle because that's in shadow. You could put a little bit of a white underneath the mouth. And let's add a little bit of a highlight on the nose. So along the top, put a little C shape. And then you could even do a couple of little nostrils with the white paint. Okay, and then let's go in the same way and put in some whiskers. Just kind of go out. Try to use the edge of your brush. And then we'll put some on the other side. Just going from the nose out towards the side of the face. And I want to switch back to the 4 filbert. And I want to bring a little bit more white paint in along the edges here. So kind of around this part of the face, it's quite a bit of white. Try to go outwards with your strokes in the direction of form. Okay, and then you might want to go back. Let's take a little more white and add some white fur to the tail. Could just kind of go in between the layers where you have that beige and that black. And just add a little bit more. Could add a little bit of highlight to the body over here. Maybe up along the fur. And then you can kind of go back and see where do you want some darker values. So you could go back with that Payne's Gray, maybe mix it up with a little bit of a brown shade. And then you can just kind of go back and do another layer of the dark. value. Make sure you're covering up everything that needs to be covered up. Okay, so at this point, you're just kind of going back and forth, balancing your lights and your darks. So as things dry, you might notice that, oh, you need to go back, put some more white in there, let things dry, add another layer. It's just all about that balancing of darks and lights at this point of the painting. Okay, so I'm going to call this done here. I hope you give this a try. It's a fun fall painting. So try this and like and subscribe if you want to see more tutorials. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.